us today. I know, I got the, hold on, not that one. Reason. Can you hear me now? I'm having some serious technical difficulties today, people, on on this show. Normally, sound quality is wonderful, and today sound quality is not. So now you have my let's do my miniature me up because I'm using a different sound area. So this part of me, the miniature me, will be up through the show. So there. So just so you know that the miniature me will be up during the show. I have some amazing, amazing women on this show today, and I am really excited about having them here. And I'm going to make myself bigger so you don't have to see the miniature me. So I am really excited about having them here on the show today. And I am really excited to be a part of the creative quarantine that we're all a part of. And some of the things that we've been doing, I'm sorry, I was like rushing around most of the day and they look beautiful. So you'll just have to look at them and not at me so much. So, but I am excited about having you guys here with us today because, I'm actually doing creative quarantine with, I think it's at least 5 other women. And I have gotten so much out of this particular program. All of the work that we've done, the relationships that we've built has been fantastic, has been absolutely fantastic. And I am so honored to be participating in this particular event with these phenomenal, and when I say phenomenal, I do not take that word lightly. These phenomenal women, especially the 2 that I'm about to bring up, and because we have other women that are in the show, but these 2 are absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know why God did not lead them into my path years ago, but I am grateful that they are a part of my life today, and they will forever be a part of my life. And I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. They ain't going nowhere. And I did use the ain't word. They are not going anywhere. I will forever be attached to these 2 particular women just because of their craft, their energy, their commitment to their work, just their longevity. They have been in this business for a number of years and have weathered the storms as women in the art world. So I'm going to bring them up because, I can talk. And you guys really didn't come to see me or hear me and all of that kind of stuff. And definitely, if you're out there, share your comments and all that kind of stuff. I see Kathleen is in there saying the link didn't work, so I'm gonna have to send it back to her. But I'm gonna bring these beautiful, beautiful women up. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. I am so
Thank you for such kind words.
I am so excited to have you guys on this show. Deborah, I love the background you toting.
Thank you. It's one of mine.
Me too. I love it.
Deborah just showed up on us today. Okay. And but I am so excited to have you guys here in my studio, Living Out Loud studio, because Living Out Loud is all about, and the reason I wanted you guys here is because I feel that, because Living Out Loud is all about being who you are and unapologetically being who you are, not caring about anything that's going on around you, and because that does not dictate to you who you are, and just living your best life irregardless of who, what, when, and where. And so just getting to know you guys, and I've only known you guys for
19 days.
Huh?
19 days.
I know. But I feel like I've known you for a lifetime, which is weird.
And
But
we passed at shows. We just didn't know each other.
we just didn't know each other, which is a phenomenal for me. And so I just feel like, so I just had to have you on the show because I feel like you guys live that out loud, just talking to you, listening to you, being a part of what you're doing. Carren, you are living out loud. Deborah, you definitely live out loud. Just talking. It's like there's nothing that has caused you to be like, oh well, am I in the right spot? Am I doing the right thing? It's like you guys have like done with that nonsense.
Well, I questioned being an artist when I first started.
Right.
Because it was like, is this a curse or a blessing? And my mentor would say, it's a blessing, it's a blessing.
It's like, am I in the right field or what? Yeah. But I want to talk about, and I'm going to let Kathleen, I got to send Kathleen another link. But I want to kind of talk about, we're all in the creative quarantine, and there's 5 women in the creative quarantine. And I wanted to do a show where it was like the women of creative quarantine. And I know a lot of them because Michelle's up there messaging me. I can see on my computer. And there's guys in the creative quarantine. But what is it like for a woman? And Deborah, I know you've done this before. You've done creative quarantine before, and it's just been you. And people can't tell me it's like, okay, because you've done the whole closed in creative quarantine where it's just you and all of you guys. But tell me, what is it like? And I'm not saying like, oh well, yeah, it's us against them and things like that. But as from a woman's standpoint, what is it like to be a part of this creative quarantine? What is it like for you?
You can go first.
Oh, you told me. You said I go first. Well, this is my first creative quarantine. And it is, we are in Corona and it is social distancing. So we're all working from our home. So it is lovely to be able to do outbound calls to a lot of the other artists or the other women to talk to them to find out how they're doing. But I could not imagine being with all of the other artists. I think that it would be amazing. And like I was telling Poncho, I could do this for 30 more days because it's just not enough hours in the day with all of the creativity that I want to do with Deborah and Sheba and yourself and Kathleen and Lorraine and Michelle. It's just not enough. I feel like I need to have a woman's quarantine now.
Well, we can extend that to one day a month.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, well, we can all get together and commune.
I was totally thinking that. I was like, because all I thought about is, I want to have both Deborah and Carren at my studio.
I love it.
Like the whole weekend of Deborah and Carren, and then we just like work and create.
Girl talk, create, cry, whatever we want to do.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
I know, because I think it would be so fantastic. I'm like, and I'd have to borrow a kiln from somewhere and a wheel.
Oh yeah, I can do something. I can do sculpting the whole time, so that would be.
I know, but that's where my head be going.
Right.
You can find someone with a kiln, and we can just shove it all to their studio.
Exactly. But I think that I have learned so much in dealing with the women. The women that are mature women, but also the women who have children, and how their process goes. And and just seeing how things, seeing what I'm doing and what they're doing and how they're maneuvering around to create, because they have full-time jobs and children to raise, and I'm working 3 different jobs, so
Wow.
it is, it's a lot, and when I say 3 different jobs, I work, part-time at a law firm. I teach class, 4 days a week, and then I come into my studio to do my work. And so, and having to balance all of that, I can't imagine where you're having to deal with children and personalities in schools, and this being that you have to cultivate, and Deborah, you had to do the same thing. It's amazing. It's absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
So the first part of my career, it was my sons. And this last um, era of my life is, my sons are on the back of my mind now. It's my parents that are,
Oh wow.
always in the back of my mind. So I don't think you ever have a part in your life where it's just you,
It's just,
Mhm.
So,
mhm.
and I had my first son at a young age. So it's just what I do, it's just who I am,
Mhm.
having to keep in mind there's someone else besides you that's affected by the decisions you make.
You're right.
So I just try to keep everything that I do in perspective. I try not to stress about anything. I try not to take things too seriously, and just do what I
Mhm.
have to do, make the
Mhm.
best of it, and throw a
I know
little fun and
something
laughter in there with it.
that you both work, correct? You both have an outside job, not necessarily a 24/7 outside job, but you both have some other form of that you have to do. And but during this quarantine, how are you correlating that? How are you making that work?
Who wants to go first? You or me, Deborah?
Let me go first because I may forget what I'm going to say because I've already forgotten half of it. but, but I have another area of my life dedicated, that I'm dedicated to, and it's in the finance realm.
Mhm.
So me trying to juggle that, like yesterday before I got on air with you guys, I had been in a meeting from like 11 o'clock to maybe 7, because what I'm trying to do is bring that arena of finance to the art life and to help artists understand how money works and how to invest their money without just spending it all on art, and to prepare for your future, because I'm not about business. I'm all about creating, but you got to find a balance between your finances and 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 your art. And nobody has really talked to us about that
Mhm.
Mhm.
seriously.
Right.
So I have taken on the challenge to learn that life and to um, share it with artists.
Okay, I'm gonna be calling Deborah.
Um,
Yeah.
what did you say?
Did you say Kara? I'm gonna be calling Deborah.
what I what I was going to
Yeah.
say is, she is doing it, and it's been something that I have been working on as well, because when I back in 2010, when I went to Africa, I had to come back and I had to think about what my financial future is. And so you have to, as an artist, figure out what your need is and what your want is. And so, I still love, massages and buy makeup and clothes and shoes and all of that. But you have to figure out, like, okay, well, I need some tools as well. But speaking with a financial advisor, dealing with my 401k plan and my pension, and talking to the financial advisor to say how many hours need to be worked. And so that when you are looking at 65, that you do have, this, income still coming in, though you are still creating. I don't think that I'm ever going to stop working unless, it's time for me to stop, or I can't use my hands, but I might use my feet if that happens. But
You know what? I could so see you doing that.
yeah, but that is always in the back of my mind when I am working. So I do think about the monies that I do have and how it takes care of the bills, how I pay myself, but also what I need to invest for my future retirement. And so, and it's a lot, because dealing with artists, we make money and it's amazing, but then we have, a month like January where it's just trickling in slowly. But to have some consistency, for me, consistency, I like consistency, and I like to be able to not have to make a decision on if I could write that check. I'd rather just say I'm able to do it. This is what I want to do, and make the best decision for me.
So that's quite the balance, because and what I find interesting, and you brought that up earlier, was the things that you were learning from moms and things like that. And because you guys, like Deborah, you have children, a family, and then Carren is like the flip side, where it's Carren and her dog, her amazing dog, but it's lives that were chosen. Not it's not like you just fell into it. This is how you chose your life. And so I find that it's interesting because you guys think on the same level as far as future. It's like you're thinking about your future, and Deborah also thinks about okay, I still have to plan for my future. And even though I might be married and have kids and all that kind of stuff, as an artist, I still have to think about where, at some point I may not be. Well, I think you'll be an artist forever. Like you said, you'll be working with your feet, and Deborah will still be painting, and God knows I will be. They'll have to take the brush out of my hands now. the day I pass on. But that's just it. It's like looking at that from that standpoint, and from, this is where I am and this is where I want to be. You find that this is for you a life dedication. It's like, this is my life.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my life. This is me. This is who I was born to be. I'm very comfortable with who I am, as a person and as an artist.
Right.
I love myself.
Absolutely. And
how does that relate? And I'm gonna, because it's like, how does that relate to family? How does that, it's like, because I know with me being an artist and having a family, how does that, and Carren, I'm going to ask, your question is going to be just like it a little differently. How does that relate? Because I know as an artist, we're like, when we get into our creative mode, it's like, my family comes up here to find me. It's like, so how does that for you, Deborah, how does that work within your family structure?
My family is very respectful of what I do. They cheer me on. They especially lately, have become a part of my business in helping me. When I first started, though, my parents, they were kind of apprehensive because they really didn't understand the world of art. And they were probably more afraid than they expressed it that, I wasn't going to be able to make any money at that. But I proved them wrong. you know, and whatever money I make as an artist, I am just so appreciative because it's like painting a picture and giving it to your mom and she puts it on there on her refrigerator or your father puts it on the refrigerator. Now it's like my clients are putting, you know, my pieces in their homes and on their walls. And so, you know, it's an adrenaline thing too, you know. That connection I make with people when they, you know, want to purchase my art is it's just so meaningful to me.
It really is.
I do not take it for granted.
Oh yeah, when people purchase your art, there's just something about, and I don't know if people understand that what that feeling is like to have somebody purchase your work, and it's not always about the money. It's like, ooh, you've given something back into the world. Or one of the things that I always say is that on my website is when you purchase art from me, you've just purchased a part of my history. So you literally have just became a part of my history when you purchase that piece of artwork.
And those people that purchase your art, most of the time they become your friends, you know?
That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
And
true.
they become friends and a part of it. And they it's like, because honestly, what they're purchasing, and I always tell people, is when people purchase your artwork, they're actually also purchasing who you are, because people buy from you because they get to know you, not necessarily the fact that I was like, oh yeah, I love this piece, but they also love your story. They love the story behind you and who you are and what you do, and that's the beauty of what people are purchasing. And I don't know if people always understand that. It's like people are purchasing because they're also purchasing a part of our history in a sense, or
and they're purchasing you also. I had talked to one of my collectors slash friends yesterday, and she said, you know, whenever I enter my house, the first thing I see is you. So you're always on my mind, and I'm always thinking about you. You know, so
beautiful. That is so beautiful.
so that is so beyond just putting a piece of art up in your house. You know, to have somebody to say that to you is, you know, is humbling. You know,
It really is.
it's like I was picked, you know, to do that for you. And now that you have it, we have this connection that is so like unlike any other connection. You know, just like she says she sees me every day. You know, and I'm in Alabama and she's in New York. But that piece of art had an effect on her that I didn't even think about it having an effect on her
I know,
life.
you don't think about, you just don't. I mean, when people tell me things about art that they've purchased from me, you're like, oh, wow, that's really nice. You have never thought about that kind of outcome of it. So that's,
And haven't you guys noticed that when you go into someone's home and see your work, it doesn't, sometimes I'm like, is that mine? It looks so different.
Yes. It is amazing. It is
It takes
amazing
on
to
a
see.
whole nother, what's the word? I don't even know what the word is, but it's like it's transformed.
Yes, that's the great word, transformed. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I
yeah.
love I love the fact that when you create the piece, you have this connection with this piece, and it is a very intimate thing. I think that artists are very intimate with their work and they're creating it. And then once it is completed, the journey is done. And so it is where it is inside of inside of the gallery space or inside of the studio. And then the minute or whenever you've done, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it happen when you're doing a show and everything is all pretty and somebody walks into the booth and just starts crying. And you're looking as, like it's not a disconnection. You look at the work and you love the journey and the stories, but to see how they get overwhelmed or emotional being in the spirit of what's going on with you. It is really, it's an amazing, it's amazing.
It's amazing to see people how they not necessarily how they communicate with your work and become sort of it's a spirit, it's like it's a spiritual journey.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very spiritual how people connect to your work.
Right.
Yeah. The story Carren just spoke on reminded me of a customer I had, and her grandmother had passed. And it was an old piece I did. It's called Back Home, but it's still, very popular today. And she said her grandmother left her a little bit of money. And that touched me because it wasn't like it was a whole bunch of money, but that money that her grandmother left her, she wanted to buy this piece I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were both boo-hooing in the
Mm-hmm. I get it. Definitely.
And I really cute.
I know.
So, yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Louise,
Huh?
okay.
Louise,
That's pretty amazing. I love hearing these stories because, these stories these aren't stories that we're sharing during the creative quarantine. And so I really love hearing the stories of how people have connected to your work and how it's made you feel. Because I don't think people understand all the time how we feel. It's not just a sale for us. It's not just, I'm just selling my work. I'm out here selling my work. I'm actually, it's like you're selling moments and
healing
and memories. It's like you're selling a lot more than people think.
Right.
And as an artist, I find that all of our art pieces is a spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. And it's one that we all go on, and we're sharing that spiritual journey with other people every day. And I don't think people always understand that or get that. Mm-hmm. And so, that's one of the things that I wanted to like doing. What did Catherine one day a couple jokes?
I'm sorry?
No, I was Catherine's posting. So I'm gonna put this. One day, a couple drove 2 hours through windy rainstorms to find me at a show to buy one of her heart boxes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's amazing. And let's see. Well, I'm just gonna post some of the Carren and Deborah. Because sometimes I forget that people are saying things over there in the corner because I'm just so engulfed in what you guys are saying. And like I said, for me to sit here, so how long have you both been in the art world as far as doing this?
For
me, go ahead.
I think I started in 85. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I started in 85. But I don't keep up with the years. That's just something I don't do. I don't keep up with things, numerically. I keep up with things in like happy moments that I had.
Right. Yeah. Early 2000s for me. I'm not sure when though. Mm-hmm. I think it's like 2000.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's because I find that when I see both of you at the level of your craft that you are both at, it's amazing to see how far you have come. And I find that that's in your commitment level. So at what point in your life that you said, you know what, this is it. This is me. And I've heard some of your story, Carren, but the rest of the world hasn't. But at what point in your life where you put pen to paper and said, you know what, this is it?
That was back in 2010 when I had taken my first trip to Ghana, dealing with artists and art lovers with Poncho. And so prior to that, dealing with my job, it took about a year. So I was working for the state. And I was one of those employees, come to work on time, plenty of vacation time, plenty of sick time, all that good stuff. And I asked for 3 weeks off. And it went back with HR for a very long time. It took them about a year to send me a message to say that it was not conducive to the company's needs for me to be able to go on a vacation for 3 weeks. So I said, so at that time, I actually had to make a decision. And so I put in my 2 weeks, and they were quite surprised when I put in the 2 weeks to go. And then they send me a message and says, whenever you want to come back, you can come back. Well, why wouldn't you just let me have the 3 weeks off? It didn't make sense. But I think that, when that old saying, be careful what you ask for, because you may just get it. Mm-hmm. So I have been asking for it, like I want to be a full-time, artist, so on and thus forth. And I'm sitting here playing tug of war of, I'm having this opportunity to begin this journey, but I'm still trying to hold on to this full-time job. So it kind of had to be like, what are you planning on doing? And so that's what happened. That's how it worked. And so I got back from the continent. I was unemployed. And then Pancho called and says, okay, well, you're unemployed. What's your story? What are you going to do? So I had to do a lot of, still working in clay, but trying to figure out what the direction I was trying to go in. And when I was going into museums and to galleries, the thing that I didn't see was us. And and I wanted to create this body of work where we could see us, and so that African Americans could appreciate their beautiful features and not be controlled or dictated by society telling us what we needed to do, what kind of hair we need to buy, what kind of lipstick we need to buy, what kind of clothes we need to buy, just being okay with you. Because I think it takes a long time for people to be comfortable in their own skin. But if they see something or see a piece of artwork or a piece of sculpture that, they're coming into, like, I'm, liking themselves. I'm not saying all dislike. I'm just saying that sometimes we allow the outside world to whisper in our ear and not just be us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to add, Deborah?
Well, my story is, I don't think I chose it. I think it chose me, because I was in pursuit of art and didn't know the path. Because when my journey started, I wasn't even creating. I was in corporate America. And I left. I just left and started seeking teachers, instructors, anybody that would show me anything, because I really didn't formally go to school for art, So I just decided corporate America couldn't tell me what I was worth. I decided corporate America couldn't tell me how much I was going to make. If I made a lot or if I made none, it was all going to be on my choices. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I was working for the major gas company there. And I met someone that was teaching, but that class was during the day when I was working. So I asked for a demotion. I was in an office, air conditioned, cozy job. And I took a position to read the gas meters. Because when I heard that you got an 8-hour book, whenever you finish that book, that's when your day was over. I mastered that job, that I was reading an 8-hour book in 4 hours. I was jumping fences and running from dogs, but the prize at the end was I was going to get to go to my art class. So that's how my art career started. Probably maybe 6 months after that, I was on my route and got hit by a car. It was a hit and run.
Wow.
So I was forced to be on disability, but that disability opened the doors for me to pursue art at a full-time pace instead of a part-time.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're here to tell that story, Deborah. Wow.
I didn't know what that story, but then that's a part of my journey.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
To see how you guys transcended into your career, because that's I find like it's coming out of one thing, because I've heard Carren's story and I was just like, that was such an amazing faith step. And I don't know if everybody would have been able to make that faith step.
And speaking on faith, I think most artists have more faith than anybody on the planet.
Have mercy, they do. We are some of the prayingest people.
Girl, we have to have right. It's like we all in there, especially when you get on the road trying to go to a show.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
you said a prayer before you go, a prayer when you get there, a prayer when you sit, stand, prayer standing up. Oh.
I mean, you praying all the way there.
God, let me not fall asleep behind this wheel.
Right? Yes. I mean, some kind of praying. Yes.
Some kind of prayer. Well, we got another artist that came into the room. Michelle. I told you Michelle was messaging me up in Facebook because I have my window open up there.
Hey, Michelle.
And,
guys, sorry about that.
How are you doing today?
I know it's good to have you here, Michelle. We are just sharing as women of Creative Quarantine. And one of the questions I did ask, as being a woman, and being a part of the Creative Quarantine. But Deborah, I want to, before I get there, because I don't want to forget, you were a part of one of the actual physical in the building Creative Quarantines as a woman. What was that like?
It was fun, because these 4 artists, Gwendolyn Redfern, Larry Puncher Brown, Charles Bibbs, and me. And we just embraced it and had fun with it. I did my first dumpster diving in LA with Gwendolyn Redfern. Looking for found objects to work with, and it was new to me, and I just soaked it up. Being in the room with other artists working around the clock, it's great, and I just hope we can get back to the point where we can do that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So then you guys were all looking forward to actually being in a physical location all together, because I know everybody on this screen right now, Michelle, Carren, you guys all have other responsibilities. And so what would that have been for you, having being able to close up lockdown, and just, would you have still been having some of those obligations, or would you just, I'm fully locked in?
I mean, I think that
I had other obligations in Los Angeles because I had just gotten commissioned to work with this firm on a hotel job. So I was the one to supply the artwork. So I had to gel that in with the Creative Quarantine. I had responsibilities because I took on that commission, and I was in the Creative Quarantine because I wasn't going to miss out on that. So I had to just learn how to gel those two together.
Absolutely.
And
that, yeah, I think
work it out. I tell everybody there's a solution to every problem. You just gotta figure it out.
Absolutely, Deborah. That's exactly what it is. My thing is that we are all able to learn how to balance. if you write it down, figure it out, and so that you can make sure that you can do, or do what Louisa said, live out loud. So it's
Yeah.
planning. It's planning, and so that it gels together.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you
And-
would basically, and how about you, Michelle? What would have been your?
I had two different responsibilities, like for like illustration clients and stuff. I put a boundary that I would not be working in January, that even for longer term projects that I was doing over the course of months, I told them they would not receive any updates during the month of January. And then what was it? But when it was supposed to be in person, we actually were looking into like getting childcare, and my husband was going to be taking over at night, and I was expecting to find a place in Springfield, whether or not it was provided, so that I could be separate for a little while, because otherwise, things just, they creep, and it's really, really hard to make boundaries about like, this is my work time, this is my living time when you're working from home. The solution has been to work in a separate space, but it can be kind of challenging sometimes, because it's a little bit easier, I think, to be in a different space, even with a young kid, and then come back and then like make sure that my time is dedicated, the time that I'm back is dedicated to my kid. So we probably would have had like, a few nights a week where like I would come home for a couple of hours and then go back. But it's been challenging to balance.
Yeah.
That's another question I wanted to ask, is because we're not quarantining outside of our homes, which means that there has to be a certain level of discipline. Do you find it harder because you're not outside of your home? Do you find it harder? Are there physical distractions and limitations to doing this creative quarantine in your home?
Well, my background is culinary arts, and it is this thing that they say, everything has a place and time. And so being that my background is this of, culinary, hotel, restaurant management, business, it was a great benefit that I learned this before. And so that I knew how to adjust my time. And so, and I think that, I think for me, this is for me, when you love what you do, you're going to do everything possible to adjust that time, and so that you can get into that studio for those few hours that you'll be able to get in.
Mm-hmm.
But in the realm of medium that I work in, clay waits for no man. So you do have to, you can control it, but you also have to bend it to your will to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you have several things that you do.
right.
And because you also still teach.
Right.
And so, because I know a lot of times I'm like, where's Karen going? We'll be on at 4. And Karen's like, I'll be back at 9.
Right. Right. Because I have to teach, because, that is my income.
Mm-hmm.
As well as being here is my income. But these are people that I have been dealing with, and they're 40 people, and they need me too. And so I want to make sure that they get everything that they need as far as creativity, because that is what everybody needs, some type of outlet of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure that
that's what I love, because I know one of the things I had touched on was family, like the family, the husband, the children. But in reality, you have children.
Yeah, I do.
It may not be your physical children, but you have a serious responsibility, because you and I have talked, and I know your heart towards what you are imparting, which is what we do to our own physical children. But you literally encompass, you're like that piece I'm doing, mother of all, where you literally have children, and you have a responsibility, and you have an obligation, and you feel that deeply. It's not something that is not a deep feeling. It's not just like, I go and do my job and blah, 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 blah. No, you have a motherly connection
Mhm.
to these people and what you do.
Right. Right. And I want to make it memorable for them because they're coming into a space that they're not aware of, and how to connect, how to center this clay, how to pull this clay, how to manipulate the clay to your will to create it, to be able to be proud to take this piece to your family. Because not only is it representing them, but it represents my teaching. So I'm teaching something to someone that doesn't know anything about it or a little bit about it, and to be able to carry that in the world, of being proud of that. It's gratifying.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, and how about you, Michelle? You have here, let's bring Michelle over. So there we have look at this. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at that. We are we're just missing one person, right? Hi, Kathleen. Kathleen has joined us. Kathleen, share a little bit. I'm just going to bring Kathleen in and share a little bit about what, the creative quarantine and how, just being a part of the creative quarantine. What is that like for you?
Well, it was exciting for me when I was accepted, asked to join and accepted, because I was looking forward to meeting with other artists, primarily African-American artists, who shared a passion for area that I also shared. So I was looking forward to having the conversations, to sharing ideas. And then the COVID hit, and the quarantine turned into a virtual experience rather than an in-person physical experience. So it was, I was still looking to be able to have that exchange with people that didn't seem to happen right away. So gradually, I think over the time, there's becoming an opportunity to actually be with each other in kind of a private space to have conversation. And I was looking forward to challenging myself or not so much challenging myself, but as much as expanding my my work with the clay. I had known of other people who had other polymer clay artists who had worked with paint and polymer. I had not done that. I kind of felt like it was cheating. But the opportunity to do that came about through the creative quarantine process. So I got some paints at the recommendation of one of the polymer clay artists I'm in a group with who does use paint to color her work. So I'm starting to, so I'm looking forward to doing some pieces, not so much wall 2D art, but I think I want to do 3D sculptural kinds of pieces, maybe with my heart boxes, to apply a paint surface to those.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting to see you doing some more sort of like hand building, like what Carren talked about with the polymer clay, more sculptural pieces. But how was with that thought process, how did you guys fare when the show turned virtual?
I was
when the show what?
When it turned virtual, because you guys had signed up for a physical show, correct?
Yeah, so
everybody had signed up for a physical show.
I have been involved with
a physical. Everybody had originally signed up for a physical. We're going to be locked in quarantine. What was your thought process when it turned virtual?
I have been involved with a number of community groups where virtual meeting has taken place. So I'm used to meeting with people online through Zoom particularly, although one of the committees I'm on, we meet through Google Meets. So I'm familiar with the process of being in different places together at the same time.
Well, but this is a little different, and so I get that part, but this is also a little different because this isn't just being in a place, and this question is for all of you all. This isn't just being in a different place. This is, and I know what meetings are like and things like that, and any of you can answer. What happened? Like, this was actually supposed to be a physical show. You guys were actually supposed to be in a place, locked in, all 12 together. What I'm looking for is what was your first thought? And I want your very first thought. What was your first thought when they said, look, Michelle's like, me. Michelle. So I'm going to bring Michelle over here so I can bring her up when she asks, what was your first thought when this show took a virtual turn?
I panicked, honestly. I thought that I was going to have to drop. I told my husband, and he was like, we're going to make it happen. And I was like, how am I supposed to work and have a kid remote schooling at the same time? That's not, I mean, because especially at the time, Gabriel, there was nowhere, we don't have a sitter. There's nowhere to send Gabriel. And in COVID times, it's really hard to find a safe sitter. And it's, yeah. And he was like, well, I'll watch Gabriel. And I was like, but it's
Mommy doesn't trust Daddy. So, yeah. Karen, what was your first thought when it turned virtual?
I was excited either way. I was like, it was, I'm like, this is an opportunity. You make it work. Make it work. I'm an adapter, so whatever comes, I just go, okay, so what are you going to do next? So I just started preparing stuff and thinking in advance of how much time do I need to create? Because, again, I was going to be coming to an area and I was going to have to find my equipment as far as clay. I would have had a bag of tools, but, I had to think about clay, firing time, when I needed to finish. But now I just have the opportunity to do 6 different firings where I may have only been able to do 2 firings if I were in Massachusetts. So it was great.
You're like, whoopee. And okay, so, and Deborah, what about you? Because I know you have dealt with, you and Kathleen have dealt with some technical challenges because you are, as Pancho's always saying, out there in the boondocks somewhere. And so what was your first thought?
Life has changed. I'm so used to having to change my mind or change this or change that. I was like, keep me posted.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, I was looking forward to being in Springfield because there's a family there that, their family has been friends with my family since my father and their father were little, were boys. So I was like, oh, I get to, go visit them. And, I went to kindergarten for Boston. I was thinking maybe I could go to Boston because I went to kindergarten, 1st grade in Boston and, get to just experience new things. But, it didn't happen this time, but it can happen later.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I went to school up in Providence. So me on that Bonanza bus going to Boston, loved it. And so I was looking for, some cod and, Portuguese barbecue and all that good stuff. So I was excited. But, my thing is, I'm not disappointed either way,
We're still together.
Yes, we are still together.
Exactly. Oh, me, I'll be honest, I was very happy it was virtual.
You were very what?
I was very happy. I was very, very happy because you have to understand that I live in a virtual world anyway. I'm one of those artists that if I didn't have children, you would never see me.
Mhm.
And so I'm a firm believer that God gave me children for that reason. Because it was like, if I didn't give her children, she would never come out. She would just be in there, you know. And so I was very happy. And I found out during the Beauty of Black and Fine Arts, the Poncho would talk about it. I'm like, man, I would love to do that. I would love, put me down, Poncho. You know how you joke about stuff. Be like, put me down. I want to do it. And then it was coming up, and I was like, yeah, don't forget me, you know. And Poncho was like, put you on the list. And so, but I would be honest, I'm one of those people, y'all would have been too much in the room for me.
Too much what?
Too much in the room for me. You know what I'm saying? To be in the environment. And I literally, now, I could be in a room with you guys all day. But because I didn't know anybody other than Poncho and LaShawn, it would have been like, I don't know these people. But you know, I'm a very outgoing person, but I'm also a very private person. And so it would have been my first, you know, I would have came in as the personality that you see. But when he said it was virtual, I was like, yay, this is fantastic. So yes, I love the fact that it was virtual. Go ahead, Kirkley.
Yeah, so you asked about people's entry into their creative life.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to share my story.
Okay.
I had been working with polymer clay, thinking this was perhaps my vehicle for turning my art into an income producing source. And I was having some success, but not a lot of success. And in the fall one year, I learned about exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, the longest running exhibition of African American art in the country takes place at that museum. Black creativity. And so I applied with one of my heart boxes. And then on my birthday, I opened my email, and there was an email from the museum. Dear artists, congratulations, your work has been accepted. And so on my birthday, I learned that in the place of my birth, my art was going to be exhibited at a national museum that had the longest running exhibition of African American art in the country. And I was included in that number. So it made me think, I think I'm onto something.
It's like I'm on to something. So I want to share, because I know everybody on this screen has a meeting to go to at 1 o'clock, and we're coming up on that time. But I want you guys to share with me, what advice would you give an artist that is looking to not only to pursue a career, making this their career, and because a lot of times artists will see where some artists are and they're like, I want to be like that. I want to be there. And a lot of times younger artists, it's like, you want to be here, but do you want to put in the work to get there? So what an artist is like, I want to be where Carren is. I want to be where Carren is. I want to be where Deborah is. I want to be where you guys are. What advice would you give a young artist who is in pursuit of what you're doing, where you are?
Well, for me, I say to anyone who's getting or thinking about doing this, I think the biggest thing is that you need to make sure that you have a foundation of support. So whether it be your mom, your dad, your whole family, you have to have a positive group of people who are going to be around you, but also be very honest with you. I also think that you need to make sure that you are, if this is what you want to do, this is your priority, so take it very seriously, because you have a gift that's been given to you. Think about your finances and what your needs and your wants are. Um, um, Practice, practice. And when you think you've done practicing, practice some more. Research, whatever it is that you need to do, find different techniques of your body of work, and just enjoy the journey that you're about to take, and make sure that whatever you learn, you share it with someone else.
Thank you so much. As you guys make your comments, you can go head over to your other meeting. So, because I know you got to go. So,
bye.
Bye, Karen. All right, Deborah, it's you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What would you share with another young artist?
I think my first advice would be to tell them to believe in yourself and to know that you can do it. Because you're going to have a lot of obstacles, you're going to have a lot of setbacks, but you have to know that, whatever decision you make, don't judge yourself, don't beat yourself about it, because stick with that decision, because the reason that you want to do this is a gift anyway. Art has opened so many doors for me that if I had stayed where I was, I wouldn't have experienced the things that I experienced because I was an artist. So it's a different world than what normal people live. So you got to find your happiness and follow it, because if you decide not to do it, I think, and to do it responsibly, you have to do it responsibly, and you have to be disciplined, and you have to understand that art has a life of its own, and it leads you. You're just a follower. When you try to give up, you got to give up that control, for that art life to open up for you. But it'll take you to places that, you're going to love that it took you there. Just be responsible about it.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be re-looking at all of this and all of you all's advice. So just know that. So Michelle, what would you tell a young artist today?
I would say that other artists are not your competition. Like if you feel jealousy, you need to get rid of that, because honestly, I've learned more. Like, other artists have been my teachers, and other artists, when a high tide floats all boats. By being friends with other artists at my level and whatnot, we're able to send jobs back and forth. If I can't do something, but I know someone, I can recommend them. And those relationships are gold, and they need to be treated like gold. And then the second is that as an artist, you have to get used to failure, both in, if you're going to try new things, you're going to fail at them, and that's okay. And in fact, the more you fail, the more progress you're probably making, even though it feels bad. And then the second is, if you're going to apply places, you're going to there are only so many slots for any particular thing. You're going to get rejection letters, and then you can't let a rejection letter, no matter how much you want that particular thing, you can't let that stop you. And you also can't put all of your heart in one letter. You have to send many applications, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my advice.
No. What was your last thing? I missed that.
Oh, about the what is it? You can't put all of your heart in one acceptance letter. So you can't apply one place and then be like, this makes and breaks it. This one place is the only way I'll be an artist. You have to send lots of acceptance and accept that your path's not going to be linear, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kathleen. Words
So
of wisdom.
So along with all the wisdom that has already been told, I want to just make a comment about Michelle's last statement. I once met an author, a writer, who had published a book, and he was at a literary convention or a literary conference talking about his book. And this author had been rejected 68 times. 68 times before his book was finally published. So yes, don't count on one rejection letter. Don't be discouraged by 2 rejection letters. Please don't be discouraged by 10 rejection letters. So I wanted to say that. And then also, do the thing you love and the money will come. Follow your passion, follow your heart. Don't let people tell you that, I was going to say, don't let people tell you you can't do it. And please don't let people tell you you can't do it. But continue to find ways to do what you love.
Well, thank you, ladies. This has been quite enlightening. Being able to share with you guys. I see Carren still down there in the background. I thought she had ran out. I'm gonna put her back up here. It's because she's still here.
The meeting was canceled.
What?
Oh,
Yes. So you have to. It's going to be rescheduled.
I didn't get a message saying no meeting was canceled. I'm gonna talk to Poncho.
I checked my email.
Is it because we were late?
No, probably not.
What?
It said reschedule. I know what I saw.
He said, "Oh, look, he said I am interrupting the flow of the Zoom call. I can't. Oh my goodness, no, he did. We were all. I gotta tell you, all on our way. We were all on our way. We had it together. You see?
Time. See, this is what time is everything. So 1 o'clock, you knew we had to log off, and you know.
Oh no, but see, what did I say? Pop off as you go. But let me just say this. These 5 people are not the only people in the Zoom meeting. So we're
the most popular.
There you go.
We're the girls.
We're the girls.
So I'm experiencing something interesting on the night shows, the quarantine shows. When I'm on StreamYard, my phone heats up really quickly in about 20 minutes. But today, right now, for this session, it's staying fairly cool.
It must be girl time. Girl time.
Hey, Buster, how are you?
When I had my own phone, I used to put ice cubes if I had to do like a Skype call or something. they do
It would heat up.
Yeah, I've even tried doing fans behind it because my old phone was terrible.
Yes, my phone doesn't heat up when I'm on Zoom calls. I was saying earlier, I do the jurying for artwork for teenagers all over the state of Massachusetts for this national competition. And this year we did it virtually. And I was on that, doing that jurying process on Friday for 5 hours on Zoom and had no problem. But 20 minutes on the StreamYard calls have heated up my phone such that it shuts out in about 20 minutes.
I wonder if there's another element to it too. So, but I don't want to keep you ladies because I have so enjoyed spending this time with you, me and my mini-me, because you can see that's my mini-me. Me and my mini-me have enjoyed, right? Everybody point to the mini-me, and everybody point in that direction. The mini-me. We have enjoyed, Michelle's going over. We have enjoyed just spending this time with you guys. I want you to know you are amazing women and strong women, and to be able to do something like this and tells me and shows me the commitment to your craft that you have to say, I'm going to take a full month and I'm going to work on my craft, and this is what I'm going to do. So I salute all of you, and I thank you for being a part of the show, and I look forward to just spending more time with you guys and creating and all of that kind of stuff. So if you have some parting words, make them now because I'm closing out.
I do. So here, my work has been included in this publication.
Okay.
It's called The American Artwork, Carefully Curated Original Art and Craft. So the publisher of this called me up one day and said, I saw your work and I want you to be included in this publication. So this is the second year that that I've been included.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Nice. Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Kathleen. All right, Deborah, you wanted to share something?
Can this be part of the filming that we are supposed to contribute every day? I want this to be mine.
Just under recording.
She wants this to be her filming.
You want this
That
to be
sounds
your
good.
what?
She wants this to be her content for the day. Is that what you're saying, Deborah? You want this to be your content for the day? I love it. Does anybody else want this to be their content for the day? Carren, are you?
No, I'm just joking. I just wanted to give a shout out to KY Buster because she's keeps popping up saying, "Hey girls," and she said congratulations to Kathleen. So, hey KY Buster, that's Carren Y. Buster, who's a renowned artist also. So you guys got to check her out too. She's an amazing artist. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yes, we definitely kept. Just thank you so much for being a part of hanging out with us, Carren. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having us.
Hung out with us. Yeah. I know, I didn't rush everything out, but thank you guys for hanging out and being a part of what we're
living
doing. And you guys are awesome. I just want you to know that you guys already know where awesomeness lies, and that's why I wanted you on the show, because to me, you guys are the the emphasis of living out loud.
Thank you.
You guys are, and that is within itself a lot to be these strong-minded women. I know we're in this big I am woman world these days, but you guys go beyond that. And that's not what I see. I just see women living their lives in a creative flow and loving what they do and not taking from anybody in the process, but giving everything. And that's what I see. Those are the kind of women that I want to be around, where it's like, I don't have to take from anybody to be who I am. And I am so blessed to be able to be a part of this creative quarantine with each of you. And I just want you to know that I feel incredibly blessed to be able to share and be a part of this with you.
And thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
We're going to close out. Michelle, was you trying to say something?
Just thank you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to close out with, gotta show my video. Carren was still in the screen.